The title of our conversation is Tomorrow is Born Today. I'm really interested in your opinion. How is the baby? What do you think?
The first thing I should say, I think, looking at our age groups, it's even less likely that we are entering into a box fight.
Don't worry, we are not going to do that.
The future, the problem is, maybe I'll start and you, difficult to predict.
Okay, but we please try.
We don't know. I mean, what is happening in 5 to 10 years? We don't even know. If you look at what's going on in our world, from the geopolitical side, from the technology side, regulatory side, it's impossible to say even what's happening in a year or two from now. And I wouldn't be in a position to say what's happening in 10 years from now. We have a few major trends, which is for our business, sustainability and digitalization. And other than that, all you can say, I think, is you have to be adaptable and flexible as a company, and take it every day from fresh. You know, whatever is thrown at you. I think that is. Just think back. I mean, a few years ago, who would have thought that we would have a war in Ukraine? That we would have suddenly sanctions, that we would be looking at much higher energy prices, etc., etc. So flexibility, adaptability, I think that's key.
What do you think?
I loved your question, actually. I would say the baby is fantastic, and nobody knows what he will or she will do in the next half an hour. This is the circumstances we are living right now, and to predict anything about the future is difficult. We do see what are the options, what we can use better for the future, what are the opportunities we can ride, you know, I think that mostly you who are in this room, the ones who will shape this future for us. It's not us. We just have a legacy for you. What you like or not, that's a different question. But all the difficulties will come and we will face. You will solve it, not we. And be able from our generation to let you actually to do what you're capable to do, and we are already not. Probably this is the most important thing looking to the future. And that's what we have to kind of enable for you to step into our shoes and make all the differences which is need to be done in order to have a livable world in the future too.
So it means basically, let's stay with the baby topic. I love the baby topic. It can learn so much now that it can be out of our hands, maybe.
Future altogether.
The future
baby,
altogether. Yeah. The progression.
Yeah, you know, it's already grown out of my hands. So if I have children at the same age. So in some cases, when we have a dinner, I just don't know what they're speaking about it, because the language what they use is very different compared to my language. So that's just strange, and you know, is hard for us in a way to understand the way they are managing their life, and it has a very significant impact how we are doing our job, and that is, I think, is the biggest challenge for us as leaders. How can we kind of set up a working space which can harmonize the way I'm working, like a workaholic and a full concentration on results and whatever, with the way they are working, who use working hours as a tool to create circumstances for themselves when they can realize their own goals. It's two different mechanisms completely. And this is living in the same working environment. So the question is that how my colleagues from HR can help me, and how much I can understand it, and how much can I change my behavior to ensure that those who are from the younger generation, they can really exploit their potential within the circumstances that basically is created by me, if I could answer.
Yeah.
Maybe you were thinking of AI, or the way you asked the question. You know, is it outgrowing us? Is it putting us in danger? Potentially, we don't know, but it won't happen overnight. You know, we will see it coming. And I would say one thing: it's not the first time in technology that we see new developments as a threat. Normally, it has everything that happened in the past has turned out to be quite productive for mankind, has turned out to be a tool that made us more efficient, helped us to live a better life. And I would, for AI, I would always expect the same thing. But other than that, the answer is also, as I said initially, I don't know. Well, if I look at at our businesses, the one question that people would ask: are we going to drive electric, battery electric vehicles? And my answer would be yes, but not exclusively. Okay, we have invested a lot in electric powertrains. We believe in it, and they are the great solution for certain drive cycles. Particularly in passenger cars and particularly in urban environments. But we also believe in other solutions, hydrogen fuel cell, hydrogen engine, hydrogen-based synthetic fuels. So there are different ways to decarbonize road traffic. And I think that is, and you could make the same example if you go to other fields like heating, for example, heat pumps, which we manufacture, great product, electrified heating, but there are environments where that is not the ideal product, So we have developed a hydrogen boiler, a traditional boiler technology that you can run with hydrogen. And for certain houses, older houses, I live in the UK where we have Victorian houses, don't ever try to fit a heat pump into one of such houses. So I guess my message is this. We need to be technology neutral. We need to be open to as many different paths and avenues as possible. And that is what I see as a danger right now. If you look at the regulators, whether they be in Brussels or elsewhere, there is an overambition in the sense that they want to not only give us CO2 targets, which we fully endorse, but want to go beyond that and ban certain technologies or favor certain technologies at the expense of others. And that is something that we believe should not happen.
And what about the medicine future?
The pace of innovation is just increasing in drug development. The use of technology gives us extreme amount of opportunity to shorten the time of research, to get innovation earlier to the market. It's interesting because most of you does not meet the new innovation in medicines, most of the cases, until you're not ill, right? Or somebody in a family doesn't have an illness, which is a heavy illness. Until that moment, you don't see that pace which happens around us. And some kind of innovation really creates completely new treatment paradigms. Some of them, like gene therapy or advanced therapeutical medical options, treatments, even create such kind of challenge to the authorities that they are not able to follow up with the regulations, these changes. So that is what we see mainly, that the option to get treatment for more and more illnesses, and there's some changes. What you see as well is not just a kind of a treatment of symptoms, what you get, but total cure. That is very different from the past, and you just don't see really where is the end for it. So it's a fantastic change. And what is not seenable at all, then how are the current technology and tools like AI helps us to do the research differently, to do even the clinical trials completely differently, that we can decrease the number of patients who are involved in clinical trials. What kind of real-world evidence can we use in order to make the comparison of a new development phased drug versus the real life, the ones which are used? All of them gives options to actually improve the efficiency and the speed, how we can provide the medicines for the patients. And one aspect which I would love to see, as you asked that part as well, I think women have in innovation is a bit neglected, and I do see that women's, how many problems do they suffer daily, which we men do not care for, and it's just not fair, I think. So an attention, and Richter is very much committed to have the attention on this territory, the attention to move the development of the innovation field to help you to have a much better, more rich daily life, not suffer from issues that we do not suffer at all, is for me as a kind of a must to do. And I'm very happy to work for the company who is committed to do this.
On behalf of every woman, I am very grateful for hearing that, really.
No, I just wanted to ask, I mean, if I may, pharmaceuticals is a highly regulated industry. Do you experience the same thing, that you find regulators overly ambitious, going beyond what they are supposed to do?
Yeah, in some cases, yes, you do see this. Especially if you look some of the concepts from FDA, it is really tough to live with it. On the other side, you do see that it's not fully against you, because it again helps you in a certain way to speed up the processes. So where we are right now, compared to the past when we created hundreds of kilograms of documentation, what we submitted to the authority, right now there are some development phases when the FDA, this is the US authority, and the companies, they are working on real time on the development. So FDA immediately see in a systematic way, in iCloud and whatever, where they share the data of the development, what is the data created from the development, whether it is the quality of the drug or clinical trials, which means that actually you will have the drugs earlier approved and get to the market. But, you know, on the other side, FDA in that way sees everything, what you are doing. So it's a so in-depth option to look into your processes, the way you are working, that it's incredible. It's frightening.
We know that both of the companies are working on long-term innovations, and we can, I think, agree that the AI is a common ground, yeah, for both of the companies. But what do you think? Which of these innovations will impact our life in the future, like most of it?
Again, I would say it's impossible to
you
tell
don't know.
at this moment. Innovation happens in waves. If you, for example, look at the automobile, there was a lot of progress in the 1920s and 30s. And then again, there was a lot of progress in the 70s and 80s. And in between, there were not so much happening. No? It was a technology-wise, it was a consolidation. And that is, I think, also, or take the smartphone. I mean, the smartphone was a huge invention that changed our lives. But think of what happened in the last 10 years. Okay, there were a lot of apps and new ways to work with a smartphone and use a smartphone. But was there a technology revolution in the last 10 years? No. So that's why I think it makes it so difficult to say what happens to AI. We had ChatGPT, which I have used. Funny tool, but if I look at the last 2 years, it hasn't really improved much. Now, whether that changes again, whether we have another push coming in the next, I don't know, 1-2 years, that puts AI into a whole different category, we don't know. We'll see. We have to deal with it on the spot.
I think that actually the innovation what we work with right now takes away the need of thinking. You use your brain in many cases to create something, to write down what has been written down by yourself in the past. And that means that the way you're using the tools is changing very significantly. Level of concentration is changing, absolutely. We do see with the youngsters this kind of developments. And it can lead that we will have a kind of a two-speed world. Some of the people will remain who spend more time with reading, understanding the circumstances, and they will be the real innovators, those ones who can understand the problems in depth, and the others probably not. And this will, I think, have a very significant impact how the society in the future will develop. This is what I see, that when I'm using ChatGPT, I'm actually do not use my brain. Yeah, it speeds up time, but it helps me to develop Alzheimer faster.
Actually, I don't want to run out of time, so let's see. Are there any questions from the audience side? Asian impacts on European technology are stronger and stronger, and surely it will further improve. Sometimes it's not fully fair competition, but it's the life. What are the success factors against it? This is the first question.
I would say we have all the ingredients. We have good universities, we have skills, we have excellent young people, we have a good start-up scene and so on. But what you see is that people in North America and in Asia work hard. And we more and more use the word work-life balance when we should probably try to find work that inspires us, fascinates us, that makes us burn. And then it's not a problem to work hard for something that you like to do. I think that will be key at the end of the day. It's not very popular what I'm saying, you know, but I say it anyway.
Yeah, we all speak about this issue in Europe, and recently Mario Draghi, he published a paper about it, how we should do this. It was not really resonated among, if you look at the political arena. But I very much believe that speed is extremely important. We have the capabilities. As you mentioned, Steffen, we have the opportunities to do it right, but really the dedication from the way as well that whether the regulators are ready to make decisions much faster and let the innovation grow. Whether we pay for innovation in Europe as well as it is paid in other territories of the world is a huge question. And a subsidized innovation is very hard to cope with, right? Because they come in with cheap products. So what you can do that you have to invest, not subsidize the companies, but invest into the knowledge and give opportunities for the future guys to actually put in what they know and then let them run. We don't do this really because we over-regulate in Europe everything basically. Therefore, the speed to get something of an innovation to the market from here is much slower than the pace of US or Asia. So this is what I would probably change.
No, the regulation, that's a good point. I mean, I have honestly, in my over 30 years at Bosch, I've never been in a phase where regulations have influenced our business as much as they do right now, and that is quite true. That is a problem. In Asia, the other thing I would say, in the past, Asians, particularly Japanese, were very good at developing an existing product or an existing solution step by step, perfectionating it. They were, I think we in the West were better in coming up with a completely new idea. Now, whether that changes, we'll see, but competition is always good, so we'll embrace it.
It is the key word. Is there anything else you wanted to mention as a key message, or are we good?
Maybe just repeat this, be open, let's not close any, I mean, most problems of mankind are solvable via technology. That's our firm belief. But would you agree, Tamás?
No, not fully. Many, yes, but not fully. We create some kind of problems which comes from our behavior, which no technology can solve, I believe. But
okay,
it's okay.
Fine. Let's agree on most problems can be solved, can be addressed, can be made. Solutions can be found via technology. And we have to be open to as many avenues as possible, whereas right now we have, particularly in Europe, a type of regulation that closes options rather than keeping them open. And that we should change. The Draghi report is great in that sense.
I would say that I trust this generation because they have completely different answers what we do have. So they find the solution how to master this world. I can't, actually. If I'm looking ahead and I see the challenges ahead of us, it probably is not my thinking, which is required and comes from the past 25 years ago, which is required right now to provide the right answer. So it's actually in your hands, guys, and you will do it.
But actually, it means the same. So you stay open for other and new ideas. So that's the key message. Yeah, I think. Thank you very much, Dr. Steffen Hoffmann and Tamás.
Thank you. Thanks.